All right, good evening, everybody. I am Bettina Maynard, and I want to welcome all of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for not going on spring break, because a lot of other people did. Before we get started, I was asked to do a couple of housekeeping announcements. The restrooms are to the left of the cafe over there. There is there's signage on that column, impossible to miss. Parking validations, you should have gotten them when you checked in. If you haven't, don't forget to stop at the check-in desk on your way out. And lastly, this event is live recorded. All right. Art, design, and architecture are inextricably linked. These disciplines combine creativity, theories, principles, and methods to create a safer, more beautiful, and functional environment. So in 2017, Mike, that's how many of those you have attended, we launched a panel series entitled Art, Architecture, and Design, because we wanted to encourage community dialogue. We wanted to look into the interconnectedness of these fields. We wanted to work together and help create innovative responses to challenge our community. And we live in interesting times. So I know I'm off script, I see people cringing. But we do live in interesting times, and today's topic seems particularly relevant as we're talking about how creativity builds community. We look at the influence art has on our world and the need to advocate for arts in our lives. Our expert panelists approach this issue with different perspectives. We have very well-known representatives from music, film, culinary, and visual arts. You have a little pamphlet on your table that goes a bit more into the detail on each one, but I could not help myself, so I'm gonna say just one sentence which does not do anybody justice, but about each one of them. Many of you are familiar with Bobby Modero Jr., a renowned slack key guitar and falsetto artist who is devoted to preserving Hawaiian music. He is a founding member of Mauna Lua, a 6-time Nahuku Hanohano award-winning group. Thank you for being here. Georgia Skinner, who was Maui's first film commissioner, is now positioning Hawaii to be a global and national leader in the creative sector development. And under her leadership, Hawaii's creative sectors have grown to 54,000 gig workers, small businesses, and entrepreneurs, representing $4.1 billion to the state's GDP in 2019. I looked up what the total was, and there was 86.9 billion, and those of you that do the math, that's about 5%, which is spectacular. Welcome. Thank you. Miliana Meyer is a lifelong practicing artist and educator who knows and lives the power of the arts every day. Do not miss the opportunity to see her amazing Omeke La'au she created for the Hawaii Triennial 25. Welcome. And last but not least, pastry chef Michelle Carr Uyoka, who is a nationally recognized semi-finalist of the prestigious James Beard Award and a recipient of the Rising Star Chef Award. And be sure to check out her award-winning desserts upstairs at MW Restaurant and at Artisan here on this floor. Thank you for being here. So let's jump right into a couple of questions for each one of you. In what ways do you think art influences the world around us? Can you give an example of how art has influenced our community in Hawaii from your perspective? And that's in no particular order. We can go right here. And please, it's a dialogue. So we can add on.
Well, it's everywhere. We wear it. We embrace it. I mean, I think that Hawaii is one of the most unique places in the world in that nature and the indigenous culture here has informed so much that it's one of the reasons why I think we have such a vibrant cultural and arts community. Some examples, I mean, I haven't seen the umeke yet, but just watching the Instagram post, I was excited to go see it. But it's all around us, and I think that you see more and more a lot of our designs not only showing up in apparel and other things, but outside of Hawaii too. So those examples carry with our musicians when they perform all over the world, and it also is, I think, the most important aspect of why I chose to call this home instead of Los Angeles. So.
Yeah, I firmly believe, whenever I perform, people expect, well, at first people look at me and they say, oh, if they don't know who I am, oh, are you gonna play rock and roll? Are you gonna play country music? So I'm gonna sing Hawaiian music. And they go, oh yeah, right. I said, no, really, I sing Hawaiian music. That's what I do. And it's kind of a weird, the cover of the book, it's kind of that. And when I get up on stage, I'm at Duke's Canoe Club down the street, which is a great, great, great place every Friday for 25 years now. So to be in one place to be that long and to have people work their trips around, I tell people, if you haven't been to Duke's, you can't go back and brag that you've been to Hawaii. You have to go to Duke's. Why? You're on that beach. It's romantic. You're on the beach at Waikiki. We can see a lot about Waikiki. We can. But it still is a romantic place. It's a place that you have to go. It's a place that you have to ingest. And it then gives you kind of that brief overview, albeit sometimes crazy overview of what Hawaii, cross-section of what Hawaii is. When I play my music, I tell people, look around. I'm just singing the soundtrack to what's around us. And that art, a lot of times, plants a seed in these people. And they want to know more about Hawaii. They want to know about the crafts, about the culinary arts, about the other than the music, the hula or laulau or whatever it may be. There's so many different variables. We're self-sustaining people. We are self-sustaining. We are our own little microcosm that we offer the world when it comes to our culture through, in my case, the music. And being an artist for 33 years, it's been my gift. It's been my way to give back to this culture that has given so very much to me. Because ladies and gentlemen, I'm 100% pure, not Hawaiian.
But we love you, Bobby. We love you.
I love you too, honey.
Give this guy a hand.
I love you, man.
Seriously.
I just want to brag on my buddies up here because, without creativity in the arts, you have a dead space. You have dis-ease. You have a lot of youth lost today, which they are because so much has been cut in the arts. I just want to remind you all that what inspires, what Bobby's talking about is nature. As an islander, as we are on the most remote piece of soil on the earth, it behooves us all to pay attention to not only taking care of the land so it feeds us, but taking care of the soul and the spirit. And when I think about the music you play, dude, you're fabulous, you know? And I just gotta brag, because this is a great group of passionate people. And we see art everywhere. And that's, Bettina, that's really, and we hear it, we taste it, we feel it, we intuit it. So it's part of our everyday is what it is. So it's just a good question.
No, and
Yeah, you're on.
and I totally agree, because how you say that art is everywhere, you breathe it, you taste it, and for me to be able to share the love of the land that the farmers all give us every day, and to share it with people from all around the world, that's what it's about. And to tell a story about Hawaii and what makes us special. Because when I grew up here, and when I was 18, I couldn't wait to go away to college. I'm like, I'm gonna be off this island, and I missed Hawaii so much. The people here are so special, the art is here so special, nature, everything. I missed it. I said, Mom, Dad, Hawaii is home. And I never want to go back to the mainland and live, because the people here, the cultures, it inspires me every day to create new dishes and share this with other people.
Oh, the passion of this panel. What, as a community or as individuals, can we do to advocate for the arts in our schools, in our community here, and maybe even in our nation?
I do have a little bit to say about that. I've just taught for 35 plus years. Actually, I've been a teacher since I was 12. My mom knew I was a troublemaker, and so she just kept me busy. The reason I'm sharing that is because we have in our population of youth at least a third of our children who are neurodivergent. In other words, they are either dyscalculic, dyslexic, they are on a spectrum somewhere, and those are the ones that are the creatives. Those are the ones that are brilliant, but they don't have a system that works for them. So if anybody in this group wants to really advocate for the youth in Hawaii or youth anywhere in the world, education is the best place to start. Because when you don't have children who have venues or outlets to be creative, to express themselves, then you have a lot of angry kids. Yeah. And actually that's what you're seeing in schools today. The arts have been cut out of schools, many and most schools actually, and I've only taught for 30, 35 years, so what do I know? I know a lot about arts education, okay? So I'm just saying, if any of you in this room want to advocate for that kind of experience for our children that gives them something, that doesn't make them feel like they belong to a system like a robot, the arts are the answer. And I'm kind of challenging everybody here as creatives. I'm looking at everybody around here and saying, yay, we do it in our own areas. And the advocacy comes when people like write letters or have campaigns to teach culinary arts or to make film like Women in Film. Women in Film does a great job with our youth. The music that happens up at the UH is really quite exceptional, actually, and culinary at Kapiolani, but there's just such a need. And if you have a need in your soul for the arts, just think about that for our children. That's what I want you to know. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. And to add to that, I think that there are a lot of community-based, like it may not always be the answer at Department of Education, and you know, they may or may not be affected by these federal cuts today. So know that you can be an advocate, as you're saying, in your own community. You may have friends. You may have recalled that you had a teacher in school that pushed the arts or music And all of those things are not happening on a regular basis. State Foundation does a good job of at least putting some working artists in the schools, but it's like a really tiny drop in the bucket, and I don't even know how many of our neighbor island students have that opportunity, especially those that may be on the spectrum. That's why at Creative Industries we support programs like Hawaii Women in Film, Pacific Islanders in Communications, these community-based organizations that are specifically doing work with high school students. And the OPO Fest is coming up also with HIF, so look for that in April. Please go support that. And yeah, support the school in your neighborhood, please. Because I was a C student and I never expected to work for anybody. I always wanted to be my own boss. So there you go. Why I wound up in government, I have no idea.
Well, so, okay, growing up, my father was a contractor, landscape contractor, very successful, beautiful man, everybody loved my dad. But no one, and he was an artist beyond an artist's mind. I mean, he was an engineer, pure German. My father's pure German. My Oma and Opa came from Germany in the 30s. And they settled here. That's our connection. That's our connection. And had my dad here. My grandfather worked for a Young Laundry, and he did very well. Had a house up St. Louis Heights. You just kind of go to school, you get a job, totalitarian. You just kind of. And so my dad started his landscape company, his own boss, did really well, an amazing man. He never really supported me in athletics, never. He always would tell me, why are you going to play with a ball? Why don't you learn how to know how to be a plumber? That's what you should do. You should learn electricity. Do you know how electricity works? Put your effort towards something that's going to take care of you and your family. Playing with a ball? No, that's not what you want to do. So when I wanted to learn how to play guitar, it was kind of like, I kind of sheepishly, hey, Dad, I learn how to play guitar. His eyes lit up. He leaned forward and he said, what can I do to support you? What can I do? Do you need a guitar? What do you need? So he went through this process with me, and I became Bobby Madero Jr., and everybody would come to see Bobby, and everybody loves Bobby and buy my CDs and Hoku Awards. And there's my dad, who's the genius in the shadows. No one ever said, hey, Bobby's dad is cutting a mango tree down Aukai in Kahala. We got to go watch him do that. But yet the tree turned out beautiful. It was a work of art, but no one cared. They just paid him and he moved on to the next job. What I'm getting at is, a lot of times we're all artists, and because I sing, because I play a guitar, I'm not trying to downplay what I do, but it's amazing how I've made a life out of it and how people have appreciated it, and it's being thankful, and now teaching. I taught. It's so funny, guys. UH West calls me up and says, oh, we'd like you to teach out here at UH West. And I said, oh, wow, that's cool. They said, yeah, could you send us your credentials? And I said, I know more credentials. They said, oh, no, but like what school are you taught? I said, guys, I barely got through Kalani High School. They gave me my diploma just to promise not to come back. They said, if we give you this paper, please don't come back, Bobby. I learned out University of Nanakuli. That's where I learned from Raymond Kani how to play slacky guitar. And here I am. I mean, School of Hard Knocks. I just went out there and I played and I fell down and I got back up. It's like a boxer. You just get back up, get back in the ring, get beat up again. You get back in the ring. It's the same thing as music. We just got to go through the ranks. I have a hard time with American Idol and all this. You just can't have a panel tell you're going to become the next Elvis Presley. You're going to become the Beatles. You know what? Those guys worked really hard. They worked really hard. I worked really, really hard, you guys. Getting up and not being the best singer in the world, not being the best guitar player in the world, but there was something people saw in me that they wanted to align themselves or their events with. So once again, I did go out to UH West. I taught 3 years. 3 classes, full classes. I had the greatest time. Pandemic hit. I went online. I had a hard time. I'm not in. Look, you know, it's just the whole, right? And the other side, everybody enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it. And then my mom and dad got sick, and so that's the whole story on why I stopped teaching. I teach privately, and I have great students that come to the house. I do love that because once again, it passes on the knowledge, it passes on the ike, the knowledge, to the youth people, and it gives people a chance, the other than. I don't want to go to college. A lot of these kids tell their parents, I want to learn from Uncle Bobby. And at first it's kind of a, wait, why? No, I want you to go to college. I want to learn from Uncle Bobby. And they do see the value in it. And that's what I think people see.
Yeah.
For me, that's when you talk about what we can do in the community. For me in the culinary arts, I think it's important. You know, I have been blessed with so many wonderful mentors that helped me to live my dream, because I said I want to be a chef. And I think that's what it's about. It's about mentorship and helping the younger generation achieve their dreams. And, you know, whether it be Waipahu, Moanalua, there's so many wonderful high school programs that have benefits to help, how would I say, to help their culinary department, because they don't get as much funding which is needed. So by having and doing these little donations, they are able to keep the culinary arts programs alive. You know, and for me, I think it's important, you know, all of you guys are all artists, but, you know, maybe help mentor someone along the way, because then they have someone to help mentor them and share your knowledge, their knowledge, and it just keeps going down. And it's about creating a movement for the next generation.
I love that.
That mentorship is so important, and I think that that's how most of us, you know, got our starts in the arts. I mean, I was a visual artist, and I did, you know, performance and music a little bit, and all of those things help round you out. But that was in an era when a lot of us went to school that, you know, they had those things for us. But finding a mentor in your community, or being one of any of you, architects, unanimous, I think it's really important that happens. And Meliana, I know you've taught so many students, but that is the ultimate in mentoring.
We're all teachers. You realize that, right? We're all teaching. If we're not learning ourselves, we're teaching. And that's a beautiful thing to sort of get and register. It's like, oh, I guess I am a teacher. I have children. There are people in the neighborhood, you know, whatever. So as creatives, if we take that kuleana, that responsibility, and it is a privilege also to teach, because then you get to learn. I learn more from the kids than they can even imagine. And it's always a privilege to teach. So the arts just need to be supported financially. We spend so little on the arts in this community, it's shocking. You know, in Germany, I have to brag about my German heritage, because there they spend, you know, I don't know if it's $11 per person, and we spend $1.47 or some crazy thing like that. In other words, we need to put our money right where our priorities are. And I'm just wanting to cultivate that part of it, because we need it desperately. Our children need it. And you know how many kids get to go away and do all those crazy, fun, fabulous things, you know? So we shouldn't deny our children the access here, because there's so much that can be learned and cultivated through the arts, you know? So I just want to brag on the fact that we love what we do. The four of us, you can tell. I'm really enjoying this. Thanks, Bettina.
I love that. I just love that I am related to half of this panel. Okay, 3/4 of this panel. I want to pivot a little bit. Maliana, I'm going to start with you. The Hawaii Triennial 25. It's the state's largest thematic exhibition of contemporary art from Hawaii the Pacific, and a bit beyond our shores. It showcases art's critical role in celebrating community. Your piece, Omeke La Au, Culture Medicine, is currently on display at Honolulu Hale. Could you share your vision for the piece, maybe a bit about the process and the themes that you're hoping to communicate?
I appreciate the question, and it reflects on all of us again. I tend to want to honor not only our mentors, but the culture itself, because we are asked in doing work creatively what your form is, and this happens to be a piece of sculpture, not a film or a mural or anything, and then what is its function. So when you think about the arts having a function, that is a totally different conversation, because there's a lot of art. When I was training and went to university, there was no function. You just did it because it was decorative, or you did it as an assignment. So I always thought, wow, what a lost opportunity. And then on top of that, there's an essence. So you have a triangulation of things, which means we're creating dimension. So I had the privilege of being picked as one of 49 artists from around the world. And there was a nice representation. There were maybe like 8 of us from Hawaii, which is great. And they gave me the city hall, and I said no thank you, because they thought I was going to do a mural or a film or do something, and I said no thank you. And they said, what, it's a great space. I said, yeah, if you can do what you want to do. And so then I got a little crazy and bold and came up with doing a 22-foot instead of a 22-inch umeke, and 8 feet tall. So you go into a space, and this piece of art holds the space. And the reason it holds the space is because it's iconic, it's beautiful, and it has a lot of essence. This particular calabash for us is symbolic because it also offers repair. And believe it or not, the theme of the triennial this year was Aloha No. So, and it had this little peva on top of no. So if you read the texts of what this particular triennial was about, you'll understand why peva are so important. Peva are the butterfly patches that repair our bowls. In a culture where you don't have any precious stone or metal, wood is a very precious thing then, right? So it holds our foods, it holds our protocols, it holds our waters, it holds precious things. So the opportunity to do something really out of the box was what I wanted to go for, so that you wouldn't just walk around a bowl as in trip over it or do something, but you'd actually have to interact with it. And the best part about it is we created an entrance, a portal, so that you could come into the space and feel the space. And we've had Tibetan monks there, we've had the whole of the Episcopal diocese, the bishop there sitting on the floor. We had 20 people today from a pharmaceutical company who wanted to understand more about Hawaii. We've had charter schools. I've myself personally dealt with 24 groups of people. The message is we have to care about each other. We have to do the repair and healing, which is what this Umeke La'au is all about, culture medicine. So I appreciate that we're honoring this place and the people, because Hawaiians are very inclusive, and it's not about race, it's about values and the things that we cherish, and we cherish the arts, not just the 4 of us, but hopefully all of you. But I appreciate an opportunity to share about this Umeke La'au, and you can actually sign up to bring your family or bring your organization in there. It's been so much fun. I've had the creative time of my life with this piece. It's been amazing. Thanks for asking.
Thank you. And those of you, if you have not seen it, it is magnificent. So thank you. Georgia. You are helping to build diversity in the state's economy by supporting creative arts. What are some of the toughest challenges that you have encountered?
Okay, well, that's kind of like art and government, you know. I will say that it takes a great deal of patience and singular vision that because you are one of your community, I may not have been born or raised here, but after 44 years now, 45 years, sorry, when I moved directly to Maui, the community there really embraced me. I got to work with a lot of Native Hawaiians and musicians who really helped me understand why this could be a place that has an untapped resource and a deep, deep well of not just creativity, but inspiration, indigenous ingenuity, and things that people will take for granted. She'll be right back with you. Hold on. And I'll tell you, my job, like everything that I did in my life growing up as a kid, except for bike riding, brought me to this place. And so what an opportunity. When I first came on board in 2007, the mission was really to create a division within a Department of Business Economic Development, oxymoron, okay, arts and business. And it was really to select kind of a vision, looking at what the collective and the power of all the facets of the arts and culture as we know it in the state from many walks of life and many, many cultures. What is the strength of that? How do you quantify it? And why is it important? And today, I think that I'm most proud of three things. One is the ability to still connect with my community, which is really important to me. I feel that there are things that we've put in place. For example, we really believe in training people. I am personally very concerned about the education systems, and I think we have to look elsewhere for that mentorship and that apprenticeship model that was really part of, I think, a lot of our careers, clearly. And that, coupled with the access to facilities that are free for community. Not a lot of kids have that ability to do that even at home. And some of our older adults as well who want to do new things. So that's an important aspect. And then the most recent is development of a fund to help provide for filmmakers and also for musicians and performing artists another way to find money and be able to do your craft. If you have to give up a year to write your screenplay, or you write your play, or you need to travel to pitch or develop something, then that's what the fund is for. And though it's not funded yet by the legislature, we took rents from our studios that come and rent our studio facilities and put that back into the community. And I think seeing the results of that really gives me chicken skin every time. So, and especially our musicians, we've done a lot, I think, also during the pandemic and seeing the struggle. I have to say one thing about our musical artists and the fact that in Waikiki, they are still playing for the same money that they were paying, being paid 10 years ago. That has just gotta stop. So let's bring back music in a big way to Waikiki. Not at Duke's, they pay him fine, I'm sure. So just saying, it wasn't about Duke's, okay. But I feel like it's so important to invest, all of us, whether you attend as a spectator of anything, but yeah. I think those things make me proudest. Is that good? Okay.
No, that's awesome. Thank you. Bobby, you mentioned Raymond Kane being one of your mentors, having had that opportunity to learn from him. How did that mentorship guide your development as a professional musician?
So I was 17. I got my first guitar. So I was later. A lot of you hear kids starting at 6, 7, 8 years old. But I was later in life I wanted to give back to my family in some kind of way. I wanted to give back to Hawaii in some kind of way. I always could sing, I was in the Honolulu Boy Choir in 1976. I was 10 years old, and I started there and learned how to, well, I didn't learn, I could sing. It's just something you did in my family. My mom sang, and so growing up, I'd listen to her and I would just emulate. Just some people have that ear. I was blessed with that ear to be able to sing. I then got my guitar, and then I had to find someone to learn from. I mean, you don't just pull this out of the sky. You have a guitar. It's a machine. You got to learn how to use this tool. So my dad, I looked around, and at the time, see, the culture of Hawaii is a delicate thing. And a lot of the Hawaiians that I grew up with up in Ainahaina, way in back of the valley, they're very protective of their culture, understandably so. So they felt, if I choose to teach you, or teach you how to dance hula, or teach you how to play a guitar, or whatever it may be, work the lo'i, are you going to take that away from me? Like, we were oppressed. Our culture was taken away. So a lot of them have that, and I understand that entirely. Well, slack key guitar is that. It's passed down, it's generational. You learn from your grandfather, then you teach your kids, and your kids teach their kids. You keep it within the family. It's very protective. It may seem, come on, man. Oh, no, don't look at it that way. It's not trivial at all. This is a serious thing. So I had this man, Tamanaha man. He lived up the street. So I got my guitar, so I wanted to go outside. I go up the street. Hey, Tamanaha man, you stay home or what? Yeah, Bobby, come. I stay. So I go up inside. Hey, how's it? I get on guitar now, uncle. I like learn how to play slacky. Oh, I knew he could play. People would tell me, Tamanaha man, he play. You like learn? Yeah. Try play for me what you play. So I play for him a little bit. That's real simple. Good. Just keep practicing like that. No. Show me. I like you show me. No. You just keep practicing like that. So I went home and I told my dad, Tamanaha man, like show me. I'm not his family. And so my dad said, I understand that. You got to be okay with that, boy. You're not Hawaiian. This is their culture. You got to respect. And he said, you know what you should do? You should learn from Raymond Kane. And I'm like, and at that time, he just had gotten back from the Washington, D.C., getting an award from the president. State Foundation Culture and the Arts were celebrating him. He was this huge, presence when it came to Hawaii's culture through slack key guitar, exactly what I wanted to learn. So I told my dad, oh my God, if I wanted to learn how to dance, well, you want me just call up Michael Jackson? You don't do that. These people, they're very protective of their craft, right? Because that's how they make their living. No, you should learn. So I go in my room and I close the door and I get the phone book. Back then had phone books, yeah? Had phone book. So yeah, K-A-K-A-N-E, right there. Raymond Kane, he was in there. 6688682. I'll never ever forget that number. So I'm sitting there now. I look it up, and I got a call. I'm committed. I see it, and I wasn't good with rejection. Girls never go out with me. I was just a haole boy in school. Yeah, no, I was always rejected. So I was like, I know he's gonna reject me. No, but I got a call. So I call up the phone. He answers the phone, Raymond Kane. Hello. Oh, how's it? My name is Bobby Modero. Can I speak with Mr. Kane? This him? Who's this? I said, my name is Bobby Modero. Why are you calling me? I said, I like learn slack key. What? You like learn from me? I said, yeah, I like learn from you. You're not gonna waste my time. No, sir, I'm not gonna waste your time. When you like start? Tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Was on Friday. Saturday morning from Hawaii Kai to Nanakuli, cruising out there. I get out there, I sit down with him. He tell me, you like learn slacky? Yeah? Okay. Teach me. Okay. Oh my God, I got chicken skin. I'm learning exactly what I wanted to do. Sir, how much do I pay you? Bring me spam. I said, wait, what? What? Bring me spam and ham. You know what a bar is? Ham. Bring me that. So I take that out there, and I have to be quiet, sit down, give him the spam and the ham, and he'd open the can and he'd eat the whole thing. He'd eat all that, and the jelly and all. He'd slurp it up, and all running down like this. And I go, Uncle Raymond, you like me get you a napkin? He goes, no, this is how you make the guitar smooth. He rub them on the strings. So this would happen. This would happen week after week, right? So then, after a while, Auntie Elodia, his wife, pulls me on the side. Bobby, you know what? I took Uncle Raymond doctor. Oh, his cholesterol through the roof, his blood pressure through the roof. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm killing Raymond Kane. So she said, no. Bring us food, but bring us healthy food. I said, okay, I got you guys. So the following week, I get in, I bring him vegetables, all the really good stuff, yeah? He was so excited. He looked in the bag. What the hell is this? I'm like, oh no, Uncle, I heard Auntie Elodia told me that we got to start taking care of your health. No, I don't want this rabbit food. I said, no, but this is going to take care of your health. He says, from now on, $10 a lesson. And that's so, but, so I learned. It was, I learned from him. That was 87, 88, 1990. I started playing at a restaurant you may heard of called Roy's. And Roy's become a very good friend of mine. He opened up in 89. I started in 90. I was there 10 years. During that time, I started teaching. People wanted to learn from me. I'd play a Slacky festival, and I look up, and this lady's looking at me, and she says, "I want you to teach my son." And I'm maybe 21, and I'm like, "What?" She says, "I want you to teach my son. Put your guitar away. I want you to meet him." And I'm like, "Where's the security in this place? I mean, how did you get back here? This is backstage. You can just walk back here? Yeah, come here. Hurry up." So she takes me out. Takes me to this little boy. Okay, he's 11. Okay, so you like learn? Yeah, I want to learn. I teach him. He's become one of the greatest guitarists Hawaii has ever known. His name is Makana. But Matthew Swalinkovich is his name. But I taught him, and he's one of the greatest. So once again, unlock the passion. Allow the children to unlock their passion. Allow them to try new things, to think out of the box, to not be rank and file. That's the beauty of the arts. Nothing is wrong, everything is right. But just try. And it takes that first step. And that's what I tell children. Just take your first step.
All right, Michelle, you have to follow this.
I know, I was going to say, how can I follow that?
All right, you started with the food, so food is more than nourishment. Michelle, the culinary arts are a very unique form of creative expression, and it's a different opportunity to connect with people and place. How do you see the culinary arts influencing Hawaii's culture and community? Your perspective.
I feel so blessed in so many ways because food has always brought our family around the table. And growing up, I would always have my grandma and my mom cook us dinner. My parents always believed that I go to school and I play golf. And if I ever told my dad I ever wanted to be a chef, he'd be like, "Oh, no. I'm in the banking industry." You become a lawyer, a business person, a doctor. You do not become a chef. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know. And make a long story short, I went to the UH Manoa's majoring in travel industry management. And I guess this is part of like kind of mentorship, and food always brought people together, so I always felt like I was put on this earth to be of service to people, to create memories and provide hospitality. So my last externship, I went to Alan Wong's. And Chef Alan mentored me, and he said, if this is what you really want to do, you have to go to school. And I said, okay, I'll go to CIA. And I called my dad, and I told my dad, "Dad, guess what? I'm going to go to the CIA. He's like, "Where did I go wrong with you?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Now you want to go into the CIA?" Not thinking CIA was the Culinary Institute of the Pacific. So I was like, he's like, "Okay, you dropped out of the golf team. And I let you go into travel industry management. Now you want to go to cooking school. I'm like, yes, I love this. And he's like, okay, you know, I want to see if you really love it. You pay for the tuition by yourself. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I had money saved up, so I did. And during that time, you know, you do an externship. And I wanted to go out to Napa, learn about wine and food and how it brings the flavors of the palate together, as well as on the plate. Because you don't only eat with your eyes. I mean, you don't only eat with your taste buds, but you eat through smell, what you hear and what you see. And so I wanted to see a little bit more about that. So I applied to the French Laundry. And Chef Keller only accepts one extern at a time. And I'm thinking, gosh, I really don't have experience, you know, but I have a passion to try. And so I wrote him a letter. And I said, this isn't a letter for, and I had a toothbrush. And it said, this isn't a letter from your dentist. It's a letter to show my desire and dedication to have one day in your kitchen. And if I have to scrub toilets with a toothbrush for one day, I'll do it. And 2 days later, I got accepted to the French Laundry. And what was so funny, and it's funny because when I did go out there, Chef Keller gave me the toothbrush, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. He goes, no, you don't have to. But it was funny because when I called my dad to tell him I got accepted to the French Laundry, he was like, oh gosh, you're gonna go work at a laundromat now? And I was like, yeah, and this is before Google and the internet, so he did not know anything, but then he was like, how did you get accepted there? And I'm like, Dad, I thought out of the box. And I followed my dream. And so back to your question, is about food bringing people together and the culinary arts. I think this past, in 2024, something that happened at KCC, which was known as the Culinary Institute of the Pacific, merged with the CIA, and it became the, and I think that was one of the greatest things, and it was all spearheaded by Chef Roy Yamaguchi, who is now in charge of it, and it not only enhances the education of the culinary arts there, but it also helps people in the workforce further their education as well. So, for example, we have 2 sous chefs and a chef who just experienced their workforce development program, and it was amazing for them to be able to further their knowledge, and because of charitable donations from the community, they were able to attend for free. And so that new program that they have there is not only about furthering the education of Hawaii, but also bringing in world-class chefs from around the world to share their knowledge and help build what we have here and to share with others, as well as our chefs here to tell the story of the land. And for example, like the Hawaii Food and Wine Festival that Chef Roy Yamaguchi and Chef Allen started, and I think this makes it 25 years this year. It's amazing to be able to bring in over 100 chefs every year to come here and learn about our culture, learn about the food, and it's amazing to be able to see that. So when you talk about culinary arts, that's how I kind of see it in the future, that it's about everyone just sharing the knowledge. And you know, we are all learners. I mean, we are all teachers, learners, and doers, and we all learn from each other, and it's about collaboration, mentorship.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, we have gotten some questions from people when they signed up. So I want to touch on a couple of those. But I also want to give all of you an opportunity to think about a question that you might have based on what you just heard. So I'm going to ask one question, and then I'll open this up, and if nobody jumps, I'll go to my next question. Okay, Liberty Peralta, is she here? Hi, good to see you again from HPR. Ask, how can we best support art and artists now?
Please know that so many of us give so much all the time, and I'm talking about the three up here, myself included. So we just need to talk to the foundations to really put monies aside to help performing arts, help theater, help those who want to be dancers. Because honestly, everyone thinks that somebody's doing something and then nothing's being done, or not ever enough. And it's very hard to write grants if you happen to be a working artist, because you're supposed to do everything. Ask how many of us up here do everything. We have to. That's just the way the work goes. It's grueling work. It's long hours for next to nothing, okay? So why is that? We have to value the arts. You have to value the arts and your creativity and your soul enough so that you say, what can we do? We can talk to our foundations. We can talk to friends who can really do the hard work also, the lifting of supporting in our communities. I'm telling you, it is an answer to so many things that ail community. You know, and I could have a whole list for you, but it's so important for you guys to hear that. It's not an extra. It is like foundational. You have spirituality, you have science, and then you have art. And it's not in that order. It's art, spirituality, and science for me. But just think about it for a moment. If we all just committed and talked to our friends or organizations or something and just, did something more, I think it would really make a difference. The Culinary College, it's so lucky because you guys have aligned, but for whatever reason, hula and dance in our community is always supported, which is great, but guess what? How many of you guys know that there are a lot of contemporary visual artists in Hawaii? I put together the first portfolio of those people. I wish I'd brought it today. So you need to know, when we teach in school, I don't really want to always teach about Gauguin, who went to the South Pacific, or Matisse or anybody else all the time. I want to teach the kids so that they can see faces. Granted, this is a very fair face, but kids want to see people who look like them. Our Filipino brothers and sisters, same thing. I work in the Micronesian community. We just have to give our children agency and allow them to tell their stories. There is so much beautiful, rich story out there in all capacities. And I'm glad HPR is here because we love you guys. And there are all sorts of organizations, but step up, step in, and be counted, everybody. And I know you're doing your work, but just do a little more, okay? Yeah. That's all I'm asking.
Hear, hear.
Thank you.
I think to add to that too, sorry, can I finish that one? Okay, good, thanks. To add to that, I think that one of the things that other vibrant arts communities have that we may not is a really strong, independent grant fund that's not tied to government. It's not always going to be the answer, and it also can't be like a DEI checkbox at a studio. Those programs, for whatever they are, unfortunately sometimes deliver and some don't. But I'm just saying that we have a lot of wonderful, very successful people in our community, not just here, but throughout the islands. And if there were a movement to start an independent foundation that would help to support, and there are many good ones already, I'm not taking away from those, but I think given what's happening on the federal level, I think it's very important that we understand that there are things going on currently that are going to be threatening to arts agencies and to our Department of Education and others. So more support for maybe a independent movement in that way. And I'm sure there's a lot of brilliant people that can jump on that right away. So thank you in advance. What is the Hawaii Arts Alliance? Do you want to take that one?
Oh dear. Actually, I was on the board, and they're tied to the Kennedy Center also. There are two large art educational orgs, one on the East Coast, which is tied to Kennedy, one on the West Coast, which is Getty. The Alliance has been noted for doing a lot in the schools. In the last, let's say, 8 years or so, they have had a real struggle and a real difficult time. It used to be an organization that brought groups for education in the arts together, but it has really struggled, and I have no idea right today exactly where it is. Rumor has it on the street that there's somebody wonderful who's just come into leadership, although it's gone through maybe 5 or 6 people in the last 4 years, okay? So it doesn't bode well when you have an organization that is not even supported for having staff, okay? So, but to answer that question, I'll have to have a beer with you, Shauna, and we'll talk more about it. But it's supporting organizations that people believe in, and the Alliance has done really good work in the past. And as we're wanting everyone to hear, we need to create a movement so that there could be more support more broadly. But the Alliance is one organization, and many have diversified and gotten into education, but there still needs to be so much more, because you can't run an arts organization with 2 people. You just can't. I mean, I do it, me, myself, and I, and it's really tiring, okay? And it's not fair, but life is not, okay? But I just have to say, we'll talk later about that. Anybody else want you, George, you want to talk about the Alliance?
I think, we've done a lot of work with them in creative industries in the past, and I just want to echo what Miliana said, is that it's just had this attrition over time for the last 4 to 5 years, and they did a lot of work in the schools. They were also a funded agency from State Foundation, I believe, so that was really important work that they did collaboratively, and they may still be working with them. I'm not in the weeds on that, but I will say that it's necessary, not just for the reasons that we all talked about today, but for a forward-thinking future. I mean, there was also a time when Hawaii Community Foundation supported arts, and I know that they had a pivot and obviously done amazing work for the Maui wildfires. So, there could be room for another kind of organization. Let's just see how we can start with helping Hawaii Arts Alliance first.
They also fund artists in the schools. So that's really an important project, and I've been a part of that for 29 years. So in other words, it's a very important organization, and again, they need support. That's all.
Pia or Randy?
To go to Capitol Modern the other weekend, and it was closed. How do we, your suggestions for encouraging more people to take advantage of the arts that are here in the community? I think the culinary arts have done a great job. I could not believe that the museum was closed on Friday night. And so what are your suggestions for expanding community support? Not money, just
Budget. They're open one Friday, first Friday. They're opened for special events. But when you have to have staff and guards and this and that, and then that all cuts back from the arts. People are wanting to support artists, and you're supporting 4 guards, and you have to, right? So we just have to, and you know what? It's a very worthy cause, but there's just not that depth of support for the visual arts here as there should be,
And there's such limited gallery space for our visual artists and our fabric artists and our sculptors that while some neighbor islands have had community spaces for that and other commercial galleries, which was an old Lahaina story that kind of went in a way different way. When I first got there, it wasn't like that. But I do think that that's really important. I can talk to you about it later. I have no idea why it was closed, because normally every Friday it's open. I mean, open, yeah, so. Well, first Friday and second Friday and third Thursday.
Friday evening or Friday day? Well, where it's open on Friday evening? Restaurant? Anyway, I actually happen to work with the State Foundation of Culture and Arts as a volunteer while I'm on commission. And so I have pluses and minuses with them. I still call it the State Foundation of Culture and Arts. But if you have to pay attention, because the legislature is really considering removing the 1% of construction of Hawaii, of state work, from the budget. And that's
Every
huge.
year, my dear, they've been doing that for the last
They're-
6
they're
years.
Now, I heard they tried to sneak it in again. They're moving it to DBED, which is fine with me. And I'm on commission, so I have pluses and minuses with the operations of it, but I'm one of the people that asks the tough questions. Like, where are we spending our money? And why are we building this thing, this water structure? And I'll talk to you about that later.
Ah, yes.
Spending lots of money on that. But anyway, you need to support that 1%, and they're trying to remove renovation from it, but it should be 1%. It was really hard to do, but it's a very difficult thing because your people are saying, well, what about the homeless compared to this, compared to that,
Yeah.
So, but we need to really try to support that. 1% is going to just drive the art. Already they're going to probably lose a lot of money from the National Foundation because of the
Knock
cap,
wood,
the
hopefully
president.
not,
Yeah.
but-
So anyway, support that.
I think
it's
that's
really
so important you brought that up because, and thank you for taking the balanced approach on the board as well. The 1% removal of that we had spoken about this earlier. That is a really landmark program. Hawaii was the first in the United States to have this, thanks to Alfred Price and also Punda Yokouchi. And I think that it's critical that maintain its integrity. I know that there are some important measures before the legislature that are crossing over to the other house as we speak. And those also have some concerns about the 1% for Art Fund because the method by which you fund the fund, which is capital improvement projects for the state, it needs to be both. And the capital improvement projects have a nexus with bonds. And apparently the only thing that I have heard that is of a major concern is the funding of the positions, but rightfully so, there is a major concern of moving them to the general fund too. So we are working together with Karen and also our lawmakers to find a happy balance where everybody can say that at the end of the session it did work in the right way. And thanks for the notion that, DBED wouldn't be a bad place because, hey, I am their biggest advocate, so there you go.
What advice would you give to yourself when you first started your careers, being in various creative industries, that you wish you would have known when you first started?
Wow. Oh boy.
How exciting it is. It's so thrilling. When you find something that you have a passion for, it's, as Michelle said, it's not work. And you're doing your 16-hour, paint-a-thon and things, and it's just extraordinary. So I just want to say, find your passion, and most importantly, find your mission, because when you find those two, you get up every day and you just kind of go, wow, this is so cool. And by the way, there's no such thing as a straight line. It kind of goes like this and this and this. It's kind of wonderful, all right? I'm just saying, there's an adventure every day. You just have to be open and willing and flexible, right?
Yeah, it's so with the music, it's wild because it can be work. It is work. 100% it's work. A lot of people, oh, Bobby, you're up on stage and you're smiling and you're having a great time and you're only singing for 2 hours, and you make good money and man, it's like, money for nothing and checks for free, like the old Dire Straits song, and it's like, you don't realize what it takes. We were just talking about this earlier. When you see a musician, I don't care what level of musician, what did it take for that person to get up on that stage? What did it take? The number one phobia in the world is what? Public speaking. Well, try public singing. It's not easy to get up and get, not ridiculed, but people you can't help. I mean, when you hear someone sing, you always kind of nudge the person next to you and go, oh, wow, bugger should learn how to flip burgers. You know what I mean? I mean, sometimes we do that. You just can't help. You just can't help that. When you find your calling, when you find your passion, be it culinary arts, film, painting, I don't care what it is, and you really, really find your niche, and you really, really find that passion that it fills your sails, you never work a day in your life because you're really using that passion to get up in the morning. I'll get done. I'll be driving home, and I had 3 gigs that day. My fingers are all beat up. I can barely talk. I'm all hoarse. My voice is shot. I'll call my wife, and I'll say, honey, yeah, oh man, I cannot. I just letting you know I'm coming home. She goes, oh, you sound tired. I said, yeah, I am. And I said, but I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I've used up every note on my shelf. I have shelves in my head, and I use up notes off of my shelf. And after the end of the day, I got no notes. They're gone. The notes are gone. But that's what the notes are for. They're to be given out. The next day, I restock my shelves. I'll take a day off to kind of relax and to reinvigorate myself to now use up those notes. And that's the beauty of, people ask me, Bobby, when are you going to retire? When are you going to retire from your music? You've been doing it for a long time. I said, yeah, wow, it took me aback. I'm thinking, 33 years I'm doing this. And then I thought about it. Music is like the mob. There's only one way out. You don't retire from the mob. There's only one way out. And music is exactly the same thing. I just went to see, I was at the Waikiki performing, and this guy, black guy, came up to me. Hey man, I really dig your music. Oh yeah, right on, bro, thank you. Oh no, I just want to let you know I'm the drummer for B.B. King. I'm like, whoa, no way. Yeah, we're performing tomorrow night, man. You want to come see us? I'm like, yeah, shoots. So we went, go see him. At that time, B.B. King, they used like 2x4s to prop him up on stage, Didn't matter. He's B.B. King. I'm in the presence of royalty. He could barely sing, get through a song. He's asking guys, hey, what song we playing again? I'm like, oh my God, but doesn't matter. He's B.B. King. And my Uncle Raymond Kane, who I learned from, same thing. We'd start a song playing, and he got dementia, We'd end with a totally different song. And I'm like, how did we get to a different song? It didn't matter. I was in the presence of royalty. And he played up until his last breath. And that's the beauty of music. Different from playing basketball, football, whatever. There's a shelf life. No, not for music, baby. Not for music. You can just be propped up with 2x4s and just put your guitar in your lap and you bang on that guitar till you just keel over. That's the beauty of music. Highly recommend it.
I'll just add a little, I was going to add a little something to that, it's a great question because I think that I became fearless when I was younger. I grew up in the flats of Hollywood, California, Hollywood to Lahaina, kind of an interesting transition. But what I remember then that I didn't know now is about being fearless, and it's kind of what Miliana said as well. It's like, you may not know where that passion is. I tried all these things, a palette of everything, right? Visual arts, animation, writing, dance, and then of course eventually film. And all of those things, each experience in each one of them, when I wanted to be fearless and I was scared to death to do this, I would push past it because I saw a long-term vision of where I could be at the end, which is how I met Norman Lear and how I became a sound mixer in TV. And that was years later, but in the beginning, I was fearless as kind of a young adult, but not as much as I am now.
So look out, here we come. You know what? There's a piece down at the convention center, and I wanted to share that. And so I made a couple of copies on canvas, and it's great because it's so beautiful. This is a 64-foot by 10-foot mural that was done by 5 beloved artists, colleagues of mine. We've done murals all over, and we had about 20 kids that I've worked with from about 6 or 7 different schools. And this thing was done in 2009, okay? It was when APEC came. So instead of protesting with signs and stuff, they would have put us in jail. We created this piece of art, and it's larger than this wall right here. In a week's time. So this is what alchemy is. Alchemy in the kitchen, alchemy in film, alchemy with music. This is what alchemy looks like. And I figured, hey, I'm a visual artist. I could bring something tonight if I want to. So I want to share this with you because it's really a dream collectively that we can all share. And it's a dream about relationships, not transactional. It's about caring for each other and caring for the planet. Because without all of that, there is a doomsday coming. There's an existential moment. So this belongs to you guys. It's at the convention center on the ground floor, and it's just a wonderful piece. And I figured, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna share them because I get them. Yeah. Hey, Bobby.
You gonna unroll it? Yeah. Okay.
And it's great to see because you're all in here. So this is all of us, the community, all of us here. And Kiakua, spirit in the middle. This is our traditions, from the east. And this is an awamo kuliana. This is a beautiful carrying stick. And we're caring for our resources, our oceans here, and the land. And then this is the horizon, the true horizon of the earth. And this mural belongs to you all, and it's at your convention center on the ground floor. And it's for free. You can walk up and it's like walking up to an elephant. You know, an elephant looks big until you walk up to it, and then you know, oh my God, this thing could kill me if he leans backwards. This is 10 feet tall by 64 feet, and it was done in a week's time. So this is what alchemy looks like. This is what all of us do together. And this is actually part of, hopefully, a dream that you can share with us, because this is Hawaii. This is Hawaii for me. So I'm just glad I could share this, and I'd love to.
Thank you for bringing this. I have a closing question that I don't want to ask before first asking Joe Kruger from LJA whether he would want to ask his question. I don't want to read your question. I think you can ask it most eloquently.
Yeah, I was feeling frisky when I registered, and I was thinking about protest art and guerrilla art and what the best way to do that is in our cultural context. I work with a lot of teenage artists, and they're mad about the political situation right now, and that's just on my heart and my mind of what's the most effective way to be a protester who has aloha.
Great question. Be a trickster, also invoke culture, as in Maui, because the piece, the umeke, if you look at it, you're going to go, wow. At the apex of the entrance, it's situated or sited to the east. It's an ahu, so there's a lot of culture in it, but what it is, it's a total activist piece. You just have to find ways to have a language that you understand well enough so that you can communicate that. So a lot of the kids, they don't have access because they don't know how to paint. They haven't been trained, they haven't been taught to sing, they have no access to doing this stuff at school, out of school, and they're just plain old angry. So you know what, it's also a cycle, but that's why we all train and teach. We're all mentors to these youngsters. Whether you think you're an educator or not, you are, because you're a parent, or you're somebody who knows a kid who is in need. So the way you do it is you give them access, you see them, you value their opinions, all of those things. You give them opportunity to to be mentored. That's what everybody in this room can do, because people come up all the time, and you have to make the time. And you have to genuinely care, because no one is less or more. We all have extraordinary things to share. We really do. That's just my humble opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you think of music, and you think of Bob Dylan, and you think of a lot of these people who've come before, the 60s, and the kind of turmoil that they went through, I mean, it reinvents itself. Look what we're going through now. I inherited my mother and father passed away about 3 years ago, and I inherited a box from my dad. It was just a simple box, and he kept his drop cloths in it. Just a humble box. Wild, guys. This is wild. And so I kept it, because I don't know why. I don't know why I kept it. It was just an old box that was just all old, super old. So, okay, I kept it. I pull it out of the shed, and I'm going to use it on my front porch, because why not? And I bring it out, and some of the paint fell off of the top of it. And so I bring it, and I sit it down, and my dad got this box from a lady up in Nu'uanu whose great-grandmother was our last queen, Lili'uokalani. And this box, this paint that fell off of it, it says Lili'uoka, and that's it. And I'm looking at this, and it's not formally, it was a box that was used by the Sahar Company, a trading company. New York, they shipped something to the queen. I have her box. Now, think of the turmoil that woman went through. I mean, we're going through some heavy stuff, yes. But that was unprecedented, what our queen went through. Took this kingdom away from her. What a government can do. So yes, be afraid. Yes, be very afraid. Because this box is today. This box is happening today. It's its own little Pandora's box. I don't even want to open it. I'm scared what's in it. What am I releasing? And I'm praying it's positive energy, because we need positive energy. It's songs, it's stories, it's paintings, it's food, it's movies, it's all of this that can come together to say, this wrong has to be righted again. How are we going to right this? I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. And I'm kind of, I play well with others, because I want people to hire me. I still got children, and I got to pay for things. So I don't go either left or right. I stay right down the middle. I'm Bobby Modero. People, hey, Bobby, we love you, and I keep it real light. I do. I have to. I have my views, and I keep them here, but it is a crazy time. I mean, it is a very, very, very crazy time. This is, once again, where music can tell the story, music can help, music can give a path and kind of make sense out of madness. I don't know. I mean, it is a crazy time.
But I think what is the age group of these kids? Okay, so see, the music thing is the key, and Aloha is the key too, right? So, hey, you should have Makana go help them out.
Makana go over that.
Yeah. But I think music is a connector in a way that other things may not be. It's also an avenue into, all the arts, so, yeah.
It is. And Makana is 46 now, so he's a little out of the adolescence age.
Yeah.
His voice has changed.
He can still be a kid.
But he's still, no. And Makana's, protested a lot.
Yes, he has.
He has protested a lot. Makana has a vision, and he has so that can be definitely. But yeah, no, I'm right down the middle, guys. Sorry.
I love it.
Michelle, any last words for the next generation?
In regards to this question?
Either which way.
Or in general.
I think for me, I think for me, someone always, like my parents and people always, good friends of mine told me, when sometimes you're not happy or when people are going, as they say, low, you take the higher ground. You always take the higher ground. You always spread aloha. And I think that's the way I've always kind of lived my life. And, you know, music, art is a way to express yourself, which is healthy, which is very healthy, because you get to express yourself and express your thoughts in a positive way, probably, you know. And it's kind of like for my son. We get him to draw. He's only 2.5. So when he feels upset about something, we give him a crayon and he draws. You know, but it lets him express himself, lets him feel free.
I love that.
Thank you. We are over time.
May I make just 2 quick comments?
Okay, comments are good.
Okay, first of all, commendations to all of you for being here and donating your time to us. I wish I'd seen this room more full tonight. So 2 comments really quickly. I've lived here for many decades, and witnessing the dwindling or deteriorating arts in our schools seems to have lost one major benefit of that no one really talks about here. And that is because we focus so much on academics, that people don't realize if children had art of any kind, music, drawing, sculpture, they would be better academic students because it engages both the left and the right hemisphere of their brains. And number 2, someone asked a question about how we can support the arts better here, and I say just go out, go to the events. I went recently to the Women in Film at the Doris Duke Theater, and I was kind of surprised at how small the audience was. And those were some great films. It was the short film series, Women of Wonder. So yeah, just go to the symphony, go to the theater. Anyway, mahalo nui for all of you.
Great comment. Thank you, Don. Okay, in closing, it's been 8 years of this, and this has been my absolute favorite panel. You know, I've said this before, but I really mean this. So, two things. Please, let's thank this panel for this very important dialogue. Truly, truly, thank you. And thank you to you who ignored spring break and came here. Thank you. And I was asked to not let you leave the room before we take a picture. So, thank you.
This was also recorded, so if you go to the AHL site, ahl.design, you will be able to see this again and listen to it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.